Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Due to popular demand, I'm back with another Project Zomboid tutorial video to help both new players to the game alongside those returning to the new build of Project Zomboid. Today's subject will be Combat, a game mechanic that has had massive changes in the new version of the game. I've got a fresh batch of tips and tricks that will transform you from inexperienced beginners to battle-hardened survivors. As the zombies are now a far more deadly threat, you'll need to master weapons and combat to have any chance of surviving. So grab your axe because things are about to get messy. Tip number 1. Pick your battlefield. Project Zomboid's undead might be slow, but they're absolutely deadly in crowds. They also lurk in unexpected places like in bathrooms or behind trees, waiting for an unsuspecting survivor to wander by. In the early game you should always try to maintain a low profile, using the stealth system to evade large packs of zombies, and avoiding heavily infested areas of the city. When you do have to fight the dead, and you don't have a weapon, engage them one or two at a time, making sure to use your push to knock them to the ground and finish them off with a stomp to the head. You can also take advantage of the environment, using fences, vehicles and windows as choke points to funnel the undead to you, as well as doorways, so you can fall back if you get to be in danger. I try avoiding fighting indoors where I can, preferring to lure them outside. Speaking of luring, the best way to deal with a large pack of zombies is to slowly approach them, waiting for some of them to see you and then backing away, luring them away from the main horde and taking them out. You can then repeat this process to whittle down even the biggest horde. Guns can also be used to lure zombies into a battlefield of your choice, but I often find they are so loud that they will draw every zombie in the surrounding area. This can, however, be used to your advantage, to draw zombies away from an area you wish to loot. Just be damn sure you have an escape route if you do. Tip number 2. Reach out and touch somebody with a weapon. While you can defeat zombies using your bare hands, this should only be used as a last resort. You should always try and carry at least one weapon. When starting out, you can find small weapons in houses such as kitchen knives, screwdrivers and frying pans. All of these can be used to kill small groups of zombies. Hardware stores and warehouses are a more reliable source of stronger weapons like hammers and axes. You're going to need these anyway for building, so you should try and raid these locations once you've got your hands on some basic weapons. Zombies are also an excellent source of a variety of different tools of destruction. If you look closely, you can find zombies sometimes with weapons sticking from their bodies. After killing them, you can claim these for yourself. You can even find zombie police officers that will sometimes carry a holster with a pistol, or in later months a shotgun or rifle if you're lucky. Weapons can be assigned to several quick slots for easy access. You have a slot for carrying large weapons like axes, spears or shotguns on your back. You can carry 2 small weapons like hammers and knives on your belt. And if you have a holster, you can carry up to 2 pistols. The final thing to remember is to keep an eye on your weapon condition. Most weapons can be repaired if you find a repair item. This includes glue, wood glue, duct tape, and sticky tape. In order to repair a gun, you will need another gun of the same type for spare parts. Just right click on the weapon you want to repair with the repair item in your inventory and select repair. However, the more often you repair an item, the less likely subsequent attempts to repair it will succeed. Tip number 3. Stay mobile and watch your back. When in combat, remember to constantly be on the move, backing away while using careful swings of your weapon of choice to eliminate the zombies one at a time. A stationary survivor is a dead survivor. Your choice of weapon is important. When fighting large packs of zombies, a baseball bat or axe is perfect for keeping your enemies at a distance, quickly killing zombies with powerful strikes to the head. Smaller weapons like hammers and wrenches work great in close combat indoors or against quicker foes like sprinting zombies. Always try to wield large weapons with 2 hands, as this will give you a large damage boost and a higher chance to knock zombies to the ground. But remember that some big weapons like the spear have an attack animation that can leave you vulnerable when fighting large packs of zombies. Heavier weapons like the sledgehammer or crowbar will tire you out quickly, so I recommend using these sparingly. Running out of stamina will slow you down and leave you vulnerable, and I recommend exiting a fight when you begin to tire if it's safe to do so. A critical tip to remember is that you no longer can instantly look behind you, so it's even more important to be aware of your surroundings. I try to have my back near a wall in a fight, such as a fence or a gate, so that my chances of being attacked from behind are lower. Don't forget that you can now vault, fences and walls, and they are a great escape route as zombies can't follow you. Don't be afraid to use the sprint key to put some distance between you and your foes, but be careful of obstacles like walls and fences that you can trip over. Tip number 4. Make your own weapons. They're very effective now. Weapons in Project Zomboid can be found more commonly in the new build, allowing players to use a variety of household items to dispatch your undead foes. However, these same weapons will break very quickly, forcing players to look for other ways to arm themselves. Fortunately, makeshift weapons which were almost useless in previous versions of Zomboid now deal far more damage, with some of them even better than the looted ones you can find. Go to an area of the forest surrounding the map and spend some time foraging. You'll find tree branches, stones and chipped stones, which can be combined into a variety of homemade tools of destruction. You can make a simple stone hammer by combining a tree branch, a ripped sheet and a stone. It's a heavy but durable weapon and it can be equipped on your belt. If stabbing weapons are more your style, a stone knife can be made from a tree branch, a ripped sheet and a chipped stone. Want something a little bigger? Then you can make a stone axe, a large powerful bladed weapon that can be made from a chipped stone, a branch and a ripped sheet. It also doubles as a tool for cutting down trees. However, the king of weapons is the spear, a deadly long-range stabbing weapon that can decimate zombie hordes when used right. If you right-click a tree branch or a plank with a knife or stone knife in your inventory, you can craft a wooden spear. It's lightweight, it can be equipped on your back, and the best part is that if you have some duct tape and a knife, or a screwdriver, you can mount a tip on the spear, making it even more dangerous. Seriously, use the spear, love the spear. Tip number 5. Cars aren't just for travel. Cars are one of the most useful additions to Project Zomboid, both as transportation allowing players to quickly travel between towns as well as a mobile container to store all of your loot. If you're desperate, cars also make a weapon to mow down the horde. If you're going to use a car for combat, I recommend a larger, more durable vehicle like a van or truck. They're tough enough to protect you from environmental damage and large enough to take out a horde of zombies. Keep in mind that your vehicle will take damage when colliding with zombies as well as buildings or trees. Enough damage will stop your vehicle from moving. A vehicle failing in the middle of a zombie horde is a surefire ticket to the afterlife. So make sure you check the condition of your vehicle by examining the front of your car with the use key. Any components with heavy damage will be marked in red. Also make sure that any vehicle you're driving has tyres in good condition and they have sufficient pressure, as I find that tyres are always the first thing to break when using a vehicle. Personally, I wouldn't recommend using a car for combat, unless you're desperate, because zombie hordes can get so large they can overwhelm any vehicle, either tipping it over or smashing through the windows and feasting on the player within. They're much better used to carry loot and as an emergency escape if your base is under threat. Vehicle maintenance is a very complex subject I'll be covering in an upcoming video. Tip number 6. Stealth, noise levels and combat practice. Another factor that newer players don't consider is weapon noise. Of course, we know that a firearm is going to be loud, but melee weapons, particularly the blunt type, make a lot of noise when used. If you have a zombie on the ground and you're looking to not attract attention, try finishing them off with a knife, which is the quietest weapon. If you're looking to be even more sneaky, with the implementation of the stealth system, it is now possible for a player to sneak up on individual zombies for a stealth takedown. If you pick the thief profession, or if you have some points in the sneaking skill, you can enter stealth mode, approach a zombie with their back turned, and if you have a knife in your hand and attack at close range, you'll perform a stealth kill. This will kill the zombie without attracting other zombies' attention. This also works great on sleeping zombies. You should practice with any weapon you find or make, working out how much noise it makes, and getting used to it in general. You shouldn't rely on just one weapon type. I always carry at least one blunt weapon for direct combat and one bladed weapon to pick off individual foes in stealth mode. Tip number 7. Corpse Party. For the final tip, we have a subject I get questioned about constantly, as it's not well known even to experienced players. As you clear the area around your base and the town, you will eventually build up a large collection of zombie bodies. Thankfully, the latest update will make corpses decompose over time, but if you have enough zombie corpses close to your base, this will eventually cause you to get ill and cause your crops to get diseased. Your illness will get worse over time, and if left ignored too long, you can become seriously ill and eventually die. Thankfully, just like real life, there's a way that you can dispose of bodies. If you find a shovel in your scavenging efforts, you can dig a mass grave, allowing you to dispose of 5 bodies in a plot. But be aware you'll be unable to use the plot for farming, so I suggest doing this outside the walls of your base. Alternately, if you have some petrol and a lighter, along with some matches to spare, you can dispose of bodies by burning. I think this is a bit of a waste of fuel, and personally recommend the best way to remove corpses being to simply move them outside the confines of your base, far away where they can decompose safely. And that was it for my combat tips video for the new build of Project Zomboid. I hope these tips and tricks help you to successfully combat the zombie horde and stay alive one more day. Please note that I deliberately skipped going into detail about firearms and explosives, as I think these deserve their own separate video. As always, I would love to hear your feedback, any questions you might have, and any tips you may have about this fantastic game. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, please subscribe if you found it helpful, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we look at a little bit more Project Zomboid. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.